Yo, what is up? This is lugnuts.guapo coming at you from Longhorn Harley-Davidson, and this is one sexy, very sexy Road King, twisted cherry in color, blacked out as Road King specials are, with the new to as stock 114.
Man, this beat is crazy.
So a little bit of history on this bike. It was a mid-production or mid-year release last year, that is, on 2017, and they came stock with a 107, but now, as a lot of new Harley-Davidsons are, they come stock with a 114, and it looks great. You know, this is one of those colors where I saw it on a Street Glide and I liked it, but I wasn't sold on it. On this bike, it looks fantastic. It's freaking it's a good looking bike. In this case, we did true duals with RC components exhaust, and it has a stage 1, has a high flow intake. And you're wondering how you can tell, just in case you don't know, when you see the stock cover for the breather, if you notice there's no plastic around it, or the backing plate has been swapped. That's how you know it has a high flow intake. So it has a stage 1 tuner, the whole shebang. It also has a couple end caps on it, and the grips. Got your LED turn signals, custom dynamics headlight. There's a lot of cool stuff on this bike, and I mean, obviously the apes. I believe they're 14-inch apes. And this one also comes with a detachable hardware stuff already installed. So, oh, and there's LEDs on the back as well. All right, let's get crack-a-lackin'. Bing! Love that low rumble. Let's get going. These grips feel really small. They're almost, I mean, they're about the width of the bars, which is, what, 1.25 inches or something like that? Oh, or maybe an inch. No, maybe 1.25 inches. I'm not sure. Anywho, Road King special. Now with the 114. I believe MSRP is a little over 23. And I think just a regular Road King is obviously way below that. But what do you get on a Road King, especially that you don't get on a regular Road King? Well, for starters, you don't get the blacked out components. You don't get, you know, they removed the passing lamps for a more modern touch. Stretch bags, and the very obviously massive improvement, the 114 Milwaukee 8. Now, I personally love Road Kings and I love Road Glides, but here's an interesting thing is, how much is a Road Glide S? I believe, and when I say S I mean special, is about 27 grand MSRP, and this is about 23. So there is a huge difference. So basically you're paying that extra amount for a fairing, basically a chassis or frame mounted fairing, and I believe it's kind of the same with the Street Glide. So that's a significant number. Now, if you don't really care for audio and you want a fairing, well, there's a lot of options for you, and this would be cheaper if you want a fairing. I know that Ross Runderman Designs has a kit for the Road King to put a FXRP fairing on it, and I think that would look amazing, especially on the S model, being that it's all blacked out and it just looks gangster. Now, obviously, in this case, we went with this bike on the route of, let's put some bars on it and give it that like murdered out cholo look. Now, some people are gonna be upset that I said that, just because a lot of people think of Cholo as kind of like big spoked wheels and chromed out. Well, I think this is a new age of Cholo. New age of Cholo. So I dig it. I believe these are 14-inch. They feel like 14-inch bars, and it's very comfortable, and it looks amazing. Oh, man, it is hot as I'll get it out here. Need to pop the visor open. Whew, need some air. Good grief. Now, some of you might think it's not fair to compare this to a Road Glide Special in like price point, but think about it. How much is just a Road Glide Standard? Yep, this bike is more MSRP by Harley-Davidson than a Road Glide Standard. But the reason I didn't compare it to a Road Glide Standard is because the Road Glide Standard is not blacked out, and it doesn't have the 114, and it doesn't have stretch backs. Yep. But is it worth that difference? Now, the other thing you have to take into consideration is that ever since they did the Milwaukee 8 114 on this as opposed to 107, the price went up. Of course, duh, bigger motor. But how much more did it go up? Well, it's honestly, it's about $1,000. It's about $1,000 difference. Yep. We did a stage 1 on this, and it's, oh yeah, you can feel that kick every time you give it throttle. So about $1,000 difference, and that I know of, there's not a 2019 Road King Special with a 107 stock. That's just, they don't make them like that anymore. Was that a smart decision? I think it is. I think putting a bigger motor on a bike that's this big, that weighs as much as this bike does, 114s, I think they should have done that the first year that they came out with the Milwaukee 8. And interestingly enough, this is one thing that I find interesting about the 114 when they first came out is, oh yes! This is one big Cadillac, man. That's what this is. With the 114, when they first came out, CVOs were 114s. Now, like I believe it was 1 year production. They went from 114 to 117. So you're getting the motor that you used to get on a CVO. You're getting it stock on a Road King Special, and as well on a Road Glide Special, Street Glide Special. But I think this is a good buy. If you were to get a special because of the 114, this is what I would get. I really love the Road Glide. The Road Glide is, I call it near and dear to my heart. But there's something about always wanting to do something unique. And I've always, ever since I discovered the FXRP fairing existed, I was like, man, I really want that on a Road King, because this is considerably lightweight in a sense versus the Road Glide and the Street Glide. And when I say that very lightly, because the fairing itself is about like 30 pounds, maybe 35 pounds. So you get a 114 motor, 35 pounds less than a Street Glide or a Road Glide, and you can definitely feel that difference. It's noticeable. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like, holy crap, it's like a completely different bike. No, I mean, it's noticeable, that difference in weight and how you can throw this bike around a corner. You can definitely feel the difference, especially against the Street Glide. Yep. This bike is gangster. It looks good. It looks mean. Has the bark that it needs. Man, this is a comfortable bike, man. Real comfortable. Now, what do you think about it? I mean, obviously, making everything a stock 114, anything that carries the name Special after its name. Oh, yeah. Every time I go through here, man, I just never know who's gonna come around the corner. I can't wait till this construction crap is over. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? Do you think it was a smart idea to put 114s on all these bikes. Anything that had a special after their name. I honestly think it is, because what's the first thing that most people do? It seems to be performance rather than looks nowadays. Now, I might be wrong. I don't know this exact statistic, but I mean, I really like the idea that I have a lightweight, I say that very lightly as well, lightweight touring bike. I mean, this is not an adventure bike. This is nothing like that. I mean, we all know that touring bikes are heavy as they sit. But you're looking, if you're not getting like an Ultra with the tour pack and everything else, and you don't care for audio or anything like that, you care about performance and being comfortable, a Road King S, man, all day long. All day long. I'm gonna try and get on the highway here in a little bit. Oh man, you know, like I said, this bike is not necessarily light, but this motor makes it feel light because of how much torque is involved. You know, I really thought I was gonna like these apes, but I don't. I usually enjoy riding with apes, but I don't know. Maybe they're a little forward and not as wide. Oh, that's just me. Man, what can I say? Being on the highway with the Road King, wind just hitting you, it is absolutely amazing. There's no feeling like it. Oh yeah. You can't get this with a Street Glide or a Road Glide because you have a fairing, so there's nothing here, you know? There's nothing here in the Road King. It lets everything in. Now, on a long ride, I can see how that could be an issue because, you know, you just turn into one big parachute and your arms get tired, especially when you have apes like this. I mean, some people ride like this all the time and they're used to it, but if you've never ridden a long distance with apes and no windshield, I think it's worth doing once so you can learn your lesson and learn what's best for you. You know, I honestly don't even feel like I'm going the speed that I'm going. This is so comfortable. And you know what's also interesting to me is that, because I remember when this Milwaukee 8 first came out, and I said this to a friend of mine. I was like, you know what? After riding a twin cam 103, you know, I think we were riding Road Glides that day, and then riding this 107, man. The 107 just feels cheap, like, because it felt so light. And you know, when you used to get a Harley, like a twin cam or Evo, you always got that shake. You always got that. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is a good feeling, my friends. This is a really good feeling. Oh, it's so comfortable, man. It's the reason why it's called the Road King. King of the road. Absorbing all the nasty bumps that the Dallas roads have to offer. Now, as I was saying, these bikes, like, they feel so light because of how powerful that platform is, and the mods that you can, you know, do to these things. You can just add some cams in a stage 1 and you're immediately in the 140s, 150s, and that's like horsepower and torque. Horsepower and torque. And granted, this already has over 100 in torque. At 140, 150? Honestly, if you're just buying a Road King to cruise, you really don't need to do anything else to it performance-wise. Obviously, it's up to you. Everybody has their own speed. This thing is comfortable. You know what? I figured out why I don't like these apes. I feel like they're pushing me back, and having that wind hitting my chest, not very helpful. Oh, all I have to do is give it throttle, man. All I have to do is give it throttle. I didn't even have to downshift. Oh, just took off. This is a boat, man. It's a big boat. It's a Cadillac. Anywho, let's take this corner, man. Oh, yeah. Good lean angle. Comfortable. Nice little deep rumble. This bike makes you feel like a gangster. It just does. There's no other way of putting it. But anywho, if this is of your liking and you want to test ride it, call us here at 972-988-1903. One of our awesome sales staff at Longhorn Harley-Davidson will take really good care of you, take you out on a test ride, and get some wind therapy. Make it yours, man. And also check us out on Instagram if you don't know already at Longhorn_HD. Check us out on Facebook at Longhorn Harley-Davidson, and on YouTube, which you are because you're watching this video. So subscribe, like, comment, or dislike, whatever you want. Let me know what you think. So if you like the content and you want more, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps a ton. Anywho, oh, we're also on SoundCloud and on iTunes. So check us out on that. I talk to a whole bunch of people that work here at Longhorn Harley-Davidson and at Maverick Harley-Davidson. So get to know the people that work at a dealership and what it's like to work at a dealership and what the people are like at our dealership. So pretty cool stuff. Anywho, in the meantime, get on your Harley and get some wind therapy. Later.